Hey, peace. Peace and love. Welcome to the Queens and Kings of Africa. Queens and Kings because we are leaders in a dark world today. We are the true kings and queens. We are the gods that walk among men. We are the horses, the spirit of righteousness, that spirit of love. So today we're going to give you a teaching and we're going to speak to you probably in between the teachings. We may stop it from time to time. Not sure yet. We may just give it to you all the way through and come back and speak on it later. But right now, let's kind of see what this teaching got to say.
As ancient as humanity itself, that our destinies are connected by invisible threads that traverse time, space, and life itself. In Japan, this thread is red, the Akai Ito, which unites souls predestined to meet. In ancient Greece, the Moirai wove the threads of human life, determining birth, existence, and death. But there is a tradition, deeply rooted in the red earth of West Africa, that understands destiny in a radically different way. Among the Yoruba, people of millennial wisdom, the thread of destiny is not woven by distant gods, nor tied without our consent. It is chosen, consciously, before we are even born. And this thread has a name, Ori. The word Ori means head in Yoruba, but its meaning transcends the physical, reaching the deepest dimensions of consciousness, identity, and spiritual purpose. Ori is the divine essence that inhabits each human being. It is the guardian of destiny, the architect of the journey, the beacon that illuminates even in the darkest nights of existence. According to Yoruba cosmology, before each soul incarnates in Aye, the land of the living, it passes through Orun, the spiritual plane, where before the Orishas and under the wisdom of Orunmila, the guardian of divine knowledge, it chooses its Ori, its destiny, its path. But here is the mystery. At birth, we forget this choice. Life then becomes a journey of rediscovery, a process of remembering who we really are and why we are here. The invisible thread of Ori guides us, even when we think we are lost, even when deviations seem to take us away from the path. Because every stumble, every fall, every victory is part of the trajectory we ourselves designed before birth. The Yoruba developed Ifa, one of the most sophisticated wisdom systems of humanity, to interpret this thread, to reveal the knots, the curves, the intertwinings of destiny through the Babalawos, the priests of Ifa, and the 256 Odus, sacred paths of knowledge. It is possible to consult destiny, understand challenges, and realign life with the original purpose of Ori. This is not just a documentary about African religion. It is a deep investigation into the nature of human destiny, about freedom, about the responsibility we carry for our own lives. It is a journey into the mysteries of Ifa, from birth to death, revealing how an ancestral culture understood universal truths about existence, choice, and transformation. Prepare to discover that the thread of destiny does not bind us, it frees us, that Ori is not divine imposition, but the deepest voice of who we really are, and that true power is not in fleeing from destiny, but in remembering why we chose it. Welcome to the mystery of Ori, where each soul is, at the same time, weaver and woven, creator and creation, in the infinite loom of existence. In the beginning, there was only Olodumare, the supreme being, the source of all existence, the incomprehensible creator whose essence permeates all that is, was, and will be. Olodumare has no form, has no gender, has no limits that the human mind can comprehend. He is the beginning, the middle, and the end, the cosmic consciousness that decided, for reasons that transcend our understanding, to create, and from this primordial will, Orun was born, the spiritual plane, the sky, the dimension where the Orishas dwell, the ancestors, and all the invisible forces that govern reality. Orun is not a physical place. It is a state of existence, a vibrational frequency where matter has not yet condensed, where everything is possibility, potential, pure energy awaiting manifestation. But Olodumare desired more. He desired creation to unfold, that energy become form, that the invisible become visible. And thus, through Obatala, the Orisha of creation, Aye was born, the earth, the material world, the stage where souls would come to dance their journeys. Obatala received the sacred mission to shape the earth, to create mountains, valleys, rivers, and finally, human beings. But creation is not perfect. And Yoruba myths teach us this with brutal honesty. Obatala, in a moment of distraction, drank palm wine while molding the first humans, and therefore some were born with physical imperfections. The Yoruba then learned that even the gods make mistakes. That imperfection is part of the fabric of existence, and that no soul is diminished by its differences. Each Orisha then received its domain, its sphere of influence in the loom of creation. Shango, fire and justice. Yemanja, waters and motherhood. Ogun, iron and war. Oshosi, forests and abundance. Oshun, rivers and love. Oya, winds and transformations. Each natural force, each aspect of human experience received a divine guardian. But there was one Orisha whose mission was different from all others, Orunmila, also called Ifa, the witness of creation. The one who was present when Olodumare wove the destiny of all things. Orunmila is the guardian of knowledge, the interpreter of paths, the Orisha who knows the past, the present, and all possibilities of the future. He does not control destiny, but reveals it. He does not impose paths, but illuminates choices. And it was Orunmila who brought to human beings the system of Ifa, the divine language that allows incarnated souls to remember, even if partially, the thread of destiny they chose in Oran. According to Yoruba tradition, each soul, before being born, is summoned before Olodumare and the Orishas. There, in that sacred moment between worlds, it chooses its Ori, its destiny, the lessons it will need to learn, the challenges it will face, the gifts it will carry. This choice is not random. It is the result of previous lives, accumulated karma, promises made on the spiritual plane. It is the soul's commitment to its own evolution. But here is the deep mystery. When crossing the veil between Orun and Aye, when being born, the soul forgets. Knowledge of the chosen destiny is erased from conscious memory. Why? Because, according to Yoruba sages, if we remembered our destiny completely, there would be no true journey. There would be no growth. There would be no merit in choices. Life would become a rehearsed play, where each actor simply recites memorized lines. Forgetting is, therefore, an essential part of the process. It is what makes rediscovery meaningful, what transforms knowledge into wisdom, what makes life a real adventure and not a simulation. But Olodumare, in his infinite compassion, did not leave souls completely helpless. He gave human beings the Ori, the inner voice that whispers the path, the intuition that guides, the instinct that alerts. And he gave Ifa, the oracular system. That allows consulting the spiritual plane, that reveals fragments of chosen destiny, that offers advice from the orishas, that realigns the thread when it becomes tangled. Yoruba cosmology is, therefore, a system of spiritual responsibility. We are not victims of a cruel destiny imposed by capricious gods. We are, each of us, co-creators of our reality. We choose, we forget, and we spend our whole lives trying to remember. And in this journey of rediscovery, we find our true power. The orishas are not tyrannical lords, but guides, archetypes, forces that live inside and outside of us. They mediate between Olodumare and humanity, between Orun and Aye, between the divine and the earthly. Worshipping the orishas, therefore, is not submitting, but recognizing oneself. It is honoring the forces that compose our own nature. It is seeking balance among the different aspects of who we are. Ifa's divine loom is infinitely complex. It has 256 odus, each containing stories, proverbs, advice, and revelations about different aspects of human experience. Each odu is like a chapter in the great book of destiny, and each person, at birth, is connected to one or more of these paths. The Babalawo, the priest of Ifa, is trained for years, sometimes decades, to memorize these paths, to understand their nuances, to interpret how they apply to the life of each consultant. He does not guess the future. He reveals patterns. He shows possibilities. He offers the map, but who walks is the person. And so, the cosmology of Ifa teaches us that the universe is a giant loom, where each thread is a soul, each knot is an encounter, each color is an experience. Olodumare is the supreme weaver. The orishas are threads of different colors, and we, humans, are simultaneously threads and weavers, creations that also create, destinies that also choose. This is the foundation upon which all Yoruba understanding of destiny rests. There is no fatalism here, no resignation. There is, yes, a deep respect for the complexity of existence, for the interconnection of all things, and for the responsibility each soul carries for its own journey. Ori is not a prison, it is a beacon, and Ifa is not a sentence, it is a compass. Together, they form the most sophisticated system of spiritual self-knowledge ever developed in Africa, and perhaps in the world. Of all the concepts in Yoruba spirituality, none is more central, more profound, and more powerful than Ori. The word, in its simplest translation, means head. But reducing Ori to physical anatomy is like confusing the ocean with a drop of water. Ori is, in fact, the spiritual essence that inhabits the head, the divine consciousness that governs an individual's entire existence, the true self that transcends body, mind, and even life itself. Yoruba sages teach that before even the orishas, before even any external force, there is Ori. There is a sacred proverb that says, Ori lo dani, ki orisa odani, which means, it is Ori that can save us, not the orishas. This is a revolutionary statement. Imagine a spiritual tradition that places inner divinity, personal power, above even the gods. The orishas are powerful. Yes, they are cosmic forces that move mountains and rivers. But Ori is supreme in each individual's life, because Ori is you, the highest version, the wisest, the most connected version of yourself. To fully understand Ori, we need to distinguish its two manifestations. There is Ori Od, the outer head, the physical head we see, touch, and that houses the brain. This is the material dimension, the biological structure, the vessel. But there is also, and here is the mystery, Ori Inu, the inner head, the spiritual consciousness, the divine spark that chose this body, this life, this destiny. Ori Inu is invisible to physical eyes, but is perceptible to those who cultivate spiritual sensitivity. It manifests through intuition, through dreams, through that inner voice that sometimes whispers truths that the rational mind cannot explain. It is Ori Inu that carries the memory of the destiny chosen in Ori, even when the conscious mind has forgotten. It is he who pulls us, gently or forcefully, back to the path when we deviate. It is he who makes us restless when we are living in misalignment with our purpose. And it is he who fills us with peace, that inexplicable peace, when we are finally on the right path. Ori is not passive. It is the ruler, the king, the supreme commander of our journey. The Yoruba say that Ori is like a monarch sitting on the throne of the head, from where it observes, decides, and governs all existence. When a person faces difficulties, when paths seem blocked, when nothing works despite all efforts, Yoruba sages first investigate Ori. Is it weak? Is it being neglected? Is it in conflict with the choices the person is making in material life? A strong Ori, well-nourished spiritually, well-respected, is capable of opening doors that seemed permanently closed. It is capable of attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that facilitate the fulfillment of destiny. A neglected Ori, on the other hand, can make life inexplicably difficult, not as punishment, but as a natural consequence of misalignment. Therefore, in Yoruba tradition, there is a specific cult to Ori. It is not worship in the Western sense, but recognition, honor, spiritual nourishment. Periodically, people offer Bori, the ritual of strengthening Ori. Bori literally means feeding the head. During this ritual, sacred foods are placed on the physical head, symbolizing the nourishment of Ori Inu, coconut, for example, which represents freshness and purification. White dove, which symbolizes peace and spiritual connection. Ori, shea butter, which in the Yoruba language has the same name as the inner divinity, not by chance. Each element of Bori has deep symbolic meaning, and the ritual is not mere superstition, but a conscious act of reconnection with one's own essence. It is a moment of pause, of reflection, of remembering who we really are beyond social masks, beyond the roles we play, beyond the temporary identities we construct.